What if I told you the one thing you rely on for safety on the ice is also the one thing scaring away the biggest fish? You spend hundreds of dollars on the right lure, the perfect line, a sensitive rod, but what if the thing sending trophy fish scattering is the jacket on your back? Today we're tackling a question that sounds crazy at first. Can fish really see your bright-colored clothing from 20 feet down through a thick layer of ice and snow? Stick with me, because what we're about to uncover isn't just a theory, it's a simple truth that could explain a lot of your slow days on the hard water. It might just be the reason why the guy 50 feet away in a dull coat is limiting out while you're just staring at a motionless bobber. Do you think I'm crazy? Let me know in the comments right now if you think clothing color matters on the ice. I bet a few of you will change your mind by the end of this video. For years, the common wisdom in ice fishing has been all about safety and comfort. We wear bright orange, lime green, or vibrant blue because we want to be seen by snowmobiles, ATVs, and other anglers. And that makes perfect sense from a safety standpoint. Nobody wants to be an accident statistic. The old-timers, and even a lot of guys today, have always said they're way down there under all that ice and snow. They can't see you. We've all heard it. And let's be honest, we've all believed it at some point. It's easy to assume that the world above the ice is completely disconnected from the world below. So we gear up in our brightest colors, drill our holes, and focus entirely on what's happening at the end of our line. We never give a second thought to the massive, brightly colored object we've just parked directly over their heads for the next 8 hours. To get to the bottom of this, we have to start with the most basic element, light. The sun is a powerful engine, and it's throwing an immense amount of light at the Earth every second. That light travels, it penetrates, and it changes things. On a bright sunny day, the surface of a frozen lake is one of the most reflective places you can be. It's why you get sunburned so easily in the winter. All that light energy is bouncing around, but it's not all bouncing back up. A significant portion of that light is punching straight down through the snow and into the ice. Think of the sun as a giant spotlight. Now let's see what happens when we put a couple of filters in front of it. Our first filter is snow. A lot of anglers think a blanket of snow makes the world below pitch black. That's a huge misconception. Snow doesn't block light, it diffuses it. Imagine a bare light bulb in a room. It's harsh and creates sharp shadows. Now put a white lampshade over it. The light is softer, it spreads out, and it fills the room more evenly. That's exactly what snow does. It takes the direct, harsh sunlight and scatters it, creating a softer, more uniform glow that passes through to the ice below. So a foot of snow doesn't create darkness. It creates a massive, glowing ceiling over the entire lake. Next up is the ice itself, our second filter. Ice is not created equal. You've got that crystal clear black ice that you can almost see through. And you've got that milky, cloudy white ice that's full of air bubbles and frozen slush. Clear ice obviously lets a ton of light pass through with very little interference. It's like a clean window pane. Cloudy ice acts a bit more like snow. It scatters and diffuses the light that's already been scattered by the snow. But in either case, whether it's a window or a frosted bathroom door, light is absolutely getting through. The idea that 2 feet of ice is an impenetrable light barrier is just plain wrong. It's a translucent barrier at worst. So the real question isn't if light gets through, but how much light gets through. Scientific studies have shown that even with a foot of snow and a couple feet of ice, up to 5% of the surface light can still reach a depth of 20 feet. Now 5% might not sound like much, but you have to remember the environment we're talking about. The underwater world in winter is a low light environment. To a fish that has adapted to living in that world, a 5% change in ambient light is a massive deal. It's the difference between twilight and high noon. It's more than enough light for a predator's eyes to pick out shapes and movements. Now let's talk about the fish's perspective. Fish eyes are incredible instruments finely tuned for survival in their environment. Many species we target, like walleye, have a special layer in their eyes called the tapetum lucidum. It's the same thing that makes a cat's eyes glow in the dark. It basically acts like a mirror, bouncing light back through the retina a second time. This essentially doubles their ability to see in low-light conditions. They are built to detect the slightest hint of a silhouette or a flicker of movement in what we would consider near darkness. They don't see the world in high definition like we do, but they are masters at picking out contrast and motion. So let's put ourselves in the fish's place. You're a walleye cruising 20 feet down. It's not pitch black. The entire ceiling of your world, the underside of the ice, is glowing with a soft, diffused light from the snow and sun above. It's your sky. And then a hole is drilled. Suddenly, a brilliant, focused beam of direct light shoots down from one spot. That hole is now the brightest thing in your entire world. It's like someone turning on a single, super bright spotlight in a dim movie theater. Every fish in the area knows exactly where that hole is. It's a beacon. Now enter the angler. You sit down next to that beacon. From the fish's point of view, looking up at that intensely bright circle, anything that passes over it will be perfectly silhouetted. Think about looking up at a bright window from a dark room. You can't see the details of what's outside, but you can perfectly see the outline of a bird that flies past it. Your body, your movements, your gear, it's all creating shadows and shapes against that bright porthole. The fish isn't just staring at your lure, it's aware of the entire scene that's playing out above it. And you are the biggest part of that scene. But it's not just about what's happening directly over the hole. Remember that glowing ceiling? The entire underside of the ice is a canvas. When you, a 6-foot-tall human wearing a big jacket, walk around on the ice, you are blocking that diffused light from reaching the water. You are creating a massive, moving shadow on that ceiling. To a fish below, it's like a cloud passing over the sun, but much closer, much faster, and in a much more unnatural shape. They might not know what it is, but their survival instinct tells them that large, dark shapes moving above them are rarely a good thing. It signals danger from above, a predator. Let's get into the colors themselves. Water is a natural filter for the color spectrum. The first color to disappear is red. It gets filtered out within the first 10 to 15 feet. Oranges and yellows stick around a bit longer, but they also start to fade and wash out the deeper you go. The colors that penetrate the deepest are greens and blues. This is why the deep ocean looks blue. So from 20 feet down, your bright fire truck red jacket isn't going to look fire truck red. It's going to look more like a dull, dark grey or black. Your bright yellow might appear as a faint, washed-out off-white. The color itself gets lost. So if the color itself doesn't reach the fish, why are we even having this conversation? Because this is the part everyone gets wrong. It's not about the color. It is 100% about the contrast. That's the key. Imagine a fish looking up at that bright, white, glowing ceiling. Now you stand over the hole wearing a bright yellow jacket. To the fish, that yellow doesn't look yellow. It looks like a very light, almost white shape. It blends in perfectly with the bright, snowy background. You've effectively camouflaged yourself against their sky. You become less of a defined, threatening shape. Now let's flip the script. You're in the same spot, but you're wearing a dark blue, dark green, or black jacket. From the fish's point of view, looking up at that same bright, glowing ceiling, you now appear as a solid, dark, sharply defined silhouette. You stick out like a sore thumb. There is nothing natural in their world that looks like a huge, solid black blob moving around above them. That high contrast shape is what triggers their alarm bells. It's an unmistakable signal that something big and out of place is directly overhead. It's the difference between a cloud and an eagle. Let's use a real-world example every outdoorsman will understand. Think about a deer hunter in a tree stand. We all know that deer are essentially colorblind to red and orange. So why do hunters wear camouflage patterns instead of just solid brown or grey? And why is hunter's orange legal? It's because the camouflage pattern, with its mix of light and dark blotches, breaks up the human silhouette. It prevents the hunter from looking like a solid, man-shaped blob. The orange is for human eyes, but the pattern is for the animal's eyes. The same exact principle applies on the ice. Your goal should be to break up your solid, threatening silhouette. So your bright-colored jacket might actually be a form of camouflage. It sounds completely backward, I know. We've been taught for years that bright colors spook fish. But in this specific scenario, ice fishing, the bright yellow, orange, or lime green jacket creates a low-contrast silhouette against the bright, snowy ice. It helps you blend into the fish's sky. On the other hand, the natural colors we think are stealthy, like dark brown, navy blue, or forest green, create the highest possible contrast. They make you stand out. You become a perfectly defined shape, and that is far more likely to spook a wary fish. Think about the instinct hardwired into every prey animal on the planet. Fear of predators from above. For a fish, the biggest threats come from overhead. Eagles, ospreys, otters, loons. All of these predators appear as dark shapes against a brightened sky before they strike. A fish's brain is programmed over millions of years of evolution to see a large, dark, moving shape above and immediately react with fear. It's a fight-or-flight response. They don't stick around to analyze whether it's a bird or a fisherman in a dark Carhartt jacket. They just bolt. And you're left wondering why the fish on your flash has suddenly vanished. Of course, this isn't a universal rule for every single situation. The effect is going to be much more pronounced in clearer water. If you're fishing in heavily stained, murky water, visibility is only a few feet, and this whole conversation is less important. It's also more critical in shallower water. A fish in 10 feet of water is going to get a much clearer picture of your silhouette than a lake trout holding in 80 feet. But for the vast majority of ice anglers, targeting panfish, walleye, or pike in depths of 10 to 30 feet in reasonably clear water. This is a factor you absolutely should be considering. This also matters more for spooky, pressured fish. If you're on a remote lake that rarely sees an angler, the fish are less educated and more aggressive. You could probably do a dance on the ice and they'd still bite. But if you're on a popular, heavily pressured body of water, those fish have seen it all. The big, old walleye and the giant bull bluegills didn't get that big by being stupid. They are highly sensitive to changes in their environment. They are the ones most likely to be put off by a high-contrast silhouette moving above them. These are the fish that separate a good day from an epic day. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I've been wearing a black jacket for 20 years and I catch plenty of fish. And I don't doubt that for a second. A hungry, aggressive fish will often bite no matter what. This isn't about not catching any fish. It's about the fish you might be spooking without even knowing it. It's about the bigger, warier fish that saw your dark outline, felt that primal flicker of fear, and just slowly backed away from your area. You'll never know they were even there. This is about optimizing your approach and removing every possible negative variable. Here's a simple experiment you can conduct yourself. The next time you're out with a buddy, have one person wear the brightest jacket they own. Yellow, orange, anything light. Have the other person wear a dark navy, black, or dark green coat. Fish the same area using the same techniques. Pay close attention to your electronics. See if the person in the dark coat marks fish that seem to fade away, while the person in the bright coat holds them longer. It's not a perfect scientific study, but it might just open your eyes to what's happening down there. The results could surprise you. So, what's the practical takeaway here? Do you need to run out and buy a whole new ice fishing suit? Not necessarily. The point is to be mindful of contrast. If you're fishing shallow, clear water for spooky fish, maybe leave the dark navy blue jacket at home and wear something lighter. A light grey, a tan, or even that bright high-vis jacket might be a better choice. The absolute best-case scenario would be a snow camouflage pattern, which is designed for exactly this situation, breaking up your outline against a bright white background. It's about thinking like a hunter and managing your profile. Ultimately, this is a game of percentages. Ice fishing is a combination of dozens of small details. The right bait, the right cadence, sharp hooks, quiet presentation. Thinking about your silhouette is just one more of those details. Will changing your jacket color suddenly triple your catch rate overnight? Probably not, but could it convince one or two of those big, wary fish to commit instead of turning away? Absolutely, and sometimes those one or two extra bites are what make the entire trip worthwhile. It's about stacking the odds in your favor, one small adjustment at a time. So let's bring it all home. Can a fish see your clothing from 20 feet down? The answer is a definitive yes, but not in the way you think. They don't see colors, they see contrast. The real shocker, the twist in this whole story, isn't that they can see us. It's that the stealthy, dark clothing we thought was a good idea is actually what makes us stick out like a sore thumb, painting a perfect predator silhouette on their ceiling. And the bright, loud, high-vis jacket we wear for safety might actually be the ultimate camouflage. This changes the game. It means we have to think like hunters on the ice, not just fishermen. We have to consider our profile, our contrast, and our presence as part of their environment. Thank you for sticking with me through this deep dive. If this blew your mind a little bit, do me a favor and hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed for more myth-busting fishing content. And now I have to ask you, after hearing all this, are you going to rethink what you wear on the ice this winter? Or do you think it's all just a bunch of overthinking? Drop your honest opinion in the comments below. Let's get a good debate going.